Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ed America TV. My name is James of the e-guides here at Ed America, and we welcome audience members joining us online. We hope that you guys are doing well and staying safe. Ed America is the United States Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. In this episode, we'll be having U.LabX 2021. But before we begin, let's break the ice with a little game. I have here a question for everybody. That question is, true or false, U.Lab has spread to about 100 countries since it was launched. Stay tuned until the end of this program because we'll be giving a live shout out to whoever can answer correctly on our social medias. I'd also like to let everyone know that as continuation of Ed America's 10th year anniversary and the diversity within the United States and Indonesia, we are holding an activity along with a giveaway. That giveaway is the iPad Pro. And if you're interested in joining, stay until the end of this program to find out more. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag at America's Instagram account. And now, without further ado, let me introduce everyone to one of our facilitators for today, Kak Pramita Indrarini, a learning facilitator with the United in Diversity Foundation. Kak Pramita, the stage is yours.
Hey, thank you, James. Awesome. This is so fun. So, thank you very much for everyone joining in again. So, this is our second meeting of the U.LabX. Thank you so much for the very warm introduction. I'll also share screen a bit. So, for those of you who are just joining today, U.LabX is a massive open online course where we introduce a new social innovation, a social tool where we are going to share awareness-based system change approach to tackle and to see our global challenges in a more innovative and enlightening way through the six coming weeks. Through the next 4 weeks ahead again. So in total, there's going to be 6 weeks. We have our first meeting 2 weeks ago, and today is our second meeting. And we'll have another four meeting in the coming weeks in every Saturday. So for those of you who are just joining, please do stay with us in the next coming weeks because this is going to be a fun ride for you to not only just understand better about the challenges and the situation that you're eager to tackle in your communities, but also to, in a way, it's also something for you to understand yourself better as well. So, without further ado, I also want to introduce the crew members here that are joining in the Zoom room. So these are the alumni of the past YCLE Advanced Camp on Peer Review. So these are the faces that you'll probably see in the next coming weeks as well. Apart from the two faces that you probably see more, there's going to be Shobi and also myself here, where both of us are from the United in Diversity. So Shobi, if you say hi to the camera, hi. So you'll see Shobi later on throughout the course as well. So, going through the course, we'll guide you along the theory you journey. Shobi and myself are from United in Diversity. We are an organization working for multi-stakeholders perspectives where we connect our participants to work together towards a more sustainable future where we'll hope to find a better way to see our situation in a more to create a more happy future together. So that's United in Diversity. And I know some of you are not only just joining through Zoom, you are also probably joining through the YCLE Facebook page or the America's social media page. Do shout on us through your social media of choice. You can use these hashtags. So the hashtag ULab are the more global hashtag that we usually use, but the U.LabX are the local ones that we're using for our journey coming forward. So no, also missing out the YouTube channel here. But if you're joining on YouTube, please do say hi to us to the live chat because we are really eager to hear your voice throughout the journey, and especially towards today's session, we'll invite you to bring in your voice. Please share with us your reflections or questions through the chat and through the comment page. We have our team connecting with you also, and also compiling your questions and reflections, and we'll read them throughout today's session as well. So do bring your voices in. We'll listen to them. So That's on social media. But apart from that, we'll introduce another tool that we want to use to connect with you better. It's called the Mentimeter. For those of you joining in the first week, you'll probably be not a stranger to this again. But for those of you joining in today, you can open up this link, menti.com, www.menti.com, and then you will be redirected to a page where you need to fill a code. Please put in this code, which is 22812712. So along the journey, along this course today, we'll ask you a couple of questions, and please do share your reflections through those questions, where we'll also flag them up offline, online here with us. So do put your voices there as well. So that's about like the intro going on through the course today. We're really eager to go through today and hopefully the next coming 4 weeks again through the U.LabX course. But before we start the whole course and the journey together, I want to invite you to something what we call the mindfulness practice. So maybe some of you are already familiar about mindfulness, but maybe some of you doesn't, and it's totally fine. So this mindfulness exercise, this mindfulness practice is becoming sort of something very crucial going on through the ULab journey, because here in theory U, one is the core practice of our understanding is how can we be more self-aware towards ourselves, and what is it that is calling through for us to be in that moment. So what we want to invite you, not just today, but also through the coming 6 weeks, and so the coming 4 weeks, and also for you to go through the discipline at home as well, is to go through the mindfulness process where in so some of you may thought of mindfulness as having a practice where you need incense, or sitting in a yoga mat or a rock and being in total silence. But actually, you can do this anywhere. But the core practice of this is you being present in the moment and focusing on the now. So what I want to invite you to as well is today to have a couple of minutes where I'll guide you through the this mindfulness practice, where you can be seated comfortably where you're at and just listen to the guide that I'm going to share to you. So wherever you're at, if you're sitting on a chair, you can sit with your legs down, or whatever feels comfortable for you. If you want to put your leg up, that's also fine. But be please do sit straight. Just imagine like you have a rope on top of your head, pulling up that rope, and be straight. And if you're sitting down, that's also fine. Um, just beware and be mindful of the moment where you're sitting at now, right now. And we'll go through this mindfulness practice. This might seem, maybe some of you would try this for the first time, so very eager to see how it feels for you for this. So we'll start off the mindfulness practice by taking a deep breath, breathing in through nose and out. Just relax. It'll take a couple of minutes for us to be present in this moment. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, you can close them. And taking another deep breath, going in and out. Beware of the present and beware of your body in this moment. Taking another deep breath, going in and exhale. Just like a scanner going through your body, take note of what your body is feeling, starting from the top of your head. Be mindful and aware of the feelings that emerge. You just need to take note of the feelings and not being too focused on it. Going down to your neck and your shoulders, going down to your arms, down to your chest and your back. Just be aware of the feeling, not being too focused. Then going down to your stomach and your lower back, going down to your legs, and finally going down to your feet, the one that connects us to the earth, where we're all connected in one place right now. Turning our focus back to your breath, breathing in and exhale. Observe how long the short and the length of your breath, not trying too hard to alter your breath, just observing it. If there are any distracting thoughts or voices outside, just take note of it and let it go, turning your focus back to your breath. Breathing in and exhale. Be present in the moment. Take the time for yourself, for your thoughts to be here in the now. You can also notice what feelings or intention that are emerging. Send them up as your intention for the day, for the universe to listen and to support and bring it into reality. Send your intention forward, and if you're comfortable to come back with it, you can open your eyes, and we hope the positive intention bringing changes to your journey, transformation for the better, would be listened to by the universe and be supported by everyone that you love as well. So thank you very much for joining with us to the mindfulness practice that might seem probably very new to some of you. And we want to listen for those of you who are joining in through the streaming and also through the Zoom as well. Please do share how you're feeling after going through that mindfulness practice with us. So you can also use the Mentimeter. We've opened up the link as well. So please do share with us your thoughts and feelings after going through the mindfulness practice. So this practice is going to be crucial for us going through the you journey because here we want to invite you to be more, we want to cultivate this discipline of being aware, of being present and understanding what is it the things we do be without being bothered by um, thoughts or feelings that might not be relevant at the moment. So, just like going through the gym, you're building your muscles to be more powerful. Here, with the mindfulness practice, we hope for you're building your muscles to be more aware of what is it that you're doing at the moment. And also being focused in every step of your journey. So along the 4 weeks, you'll understand later on as well why being more self-aware and how this mindfulness practice is very crucial for you to go through your journey. So that's it for us. So thank you very much for joining through the mindfulness practice. And for those of you who are new to it and still going through it together, so thank you. So to start up as well through the journey, I want, or there you go. So, just a bit of a reminder of what we've introduced the past 2 weeks, because this is probably some of you haven't joined in with us, but and also some of you probably has hazy memory because it's been 2 weeks since we last met. But just a bit of an intro. So we've started with uh, connecting us with a global common challenge together, where we are all feeling the same situation after being disrupted by our common challenges such as the coronavirus that pandemic that is happening worldwide that disrupts the way we live every day, and this probably not a lot of us are prepared for this, and along the course of the years disruptions like this that are more becoming unprecedented is coming it's more rampant each year, such as also we've seen the course of climate change, um, creating change that are not predictable for us. So, to sum up these challenges, this is rooted to these three divides, which is the divides between ourself and nature, which is the ecological divides, and the divide between ourself and the others, which is the social divide, and the divide between ourself and our best potential future self, which is the spiritual divide. So I'm probably not going to go too deep into this. So you can go through our past recordings if you want to go through uh, these slides more respectively. But just to sum up, through this divides, we realize that us not being aware of what we do and just being doing business as usual and more amplifying those divides are collectively creating results that nobody wants, such as the climate change that we see today, and also the pandemic that's also have our hands causing these pandemics as well. So here we want to invite you to go beyond business as usual, just going beyond our past patterns and going deep to the theory U process, where we'll uh, be more mindful of how we can be more observant of what is it that is emerging around us, and also what is emerging inside us. What is it that is life calling into for me to create in this world, and also what is life actually needing to be transformed. So with that voices and us being listening not only to ourselves but also what is emerging around us, we go retreat and reflect, and it'll allow our best potential self and also the best potential future for the system that we want to see change happening to be created together with the people around us and also our community. So that is where we invite you later on to create the possibility, the prototype of what is it that we want, the changes that we want to see in this world happening with even in small steps, even in your smallest community. So this is the overview of the theory U process that we're going to go through the coming weeks. But later on, I'll share also in each every week, we'll break down all the paths of this theory U process throughout the course. So also 2 weeks ago, oops, spoiler alert. So 2 weeks ago, we also watched a video called "The Overview Effect" about the astronauts going out through the moon and realizing when they focused more on turning the beam of observation back into Earth, not only looking at the planet outside, but only looking back to ourselves. There, they realize more profound understanding about their Earth better. So this is the invitation for us as well, bending the beam of observation back, not only looking outside, but turning back that observation into inside as well to understand ourselves better. That's why we start off with the mindfulness practice so we can listen to ourselves better as well. So also we invited you to go through an empathy walk homework where we invite you to have a dialogue with somebody who is very different from you and listening and trying to understand them from their perspectives without judgment. So hopefully some of you get along to do it because that would be a very incredible experience for you. Not only because it's very experience for us, but it's very more beneficial for you as well because that's your opportunity for learn to understand people better. So those are the things that we've covered the past week, and also we listen from your voices. We have 193 people jotting in our Mentimeter from the 2 weeks ago. A lot of you are very excited to go through the U.Lab journey with us, and very interested, curious, passionate, happy. But some of you are still also confused. What is this? So hopefully in the coming weeks it would be more clear for you as well. But for those who missed out for the last episode, you can watch the recordings in any of these channels in the YC Lee Facebook page or the At America Facebook or YouTube page. And also, I missed out on this. You can also check it in the Instagram page as well. So At America social medias and also YC Lee social media. Do check that out. So that's a recap of what we've covered the past week. So just want to check in on you guys again. Have since we have gone through 2 weeks since we last met, we want to check in with you. Were there something that are still sitting with you from our last session? Are there things that touched you? And what are the questions that are still sitting with you from our last sessions? And also, if you have gone through the empathy walk journey, are there moments that stood out from you from the experience? We really want to listen to this because this is such going to be incredible experience and learning observations for you as well. So for those of you joining through streaming, you can comment in the social media page, or you can check in with us using the Mentimeter. For those of you joining through Zoom, you will be separated in a breakout room where our co-facilitator Akias is going to help you separate the groups, and also in each and every group you will be accompanied by a co-facilitator as well to guide you through the question. But do take this experience to get to know each other better for our Zoom participants, and we'll also probably will copy paste the question in the chat, just so you don't miss this out. So I'll stop share with it. Um, so we have a couple of people joining in through Zoom. Akias, is the breakout room ready for our participants in Zoom? All right. So those joining in through Zoom, well, I'll copy the question as well here. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. So for those of you, okay, joining in through Zoom, you are already invited to join a breakout room. So enjoy the conversation, have fun meeting new people across Southeast Asia, and having a very mindful dialogue together. But for those of you joining in through the streaming channels, Shobi, Maral, and myself, we will still be here in the main room, and we'll read your observations from your social medias of choice. So wait, all right. So the Mentimeter link is already moved to the next question. But those of you joining from Facebook or YouTube, you can put in your comments, and our team will capture that and sum it up to bring with us online here in the Zoom channel.
Can we repost the link to the Menti?
Oh, sure
Or,
thing.
or at least share the code again in case people missed it.
All right.
Perhaps on the screen better, yes, since they're not on
Yep.
Zoom.
Yeah, that's true. There you go. Those of you joining through Menti, you can use this link. It's menti.com, and the code is 22812712. So maybe pro tip right here. So if you're joining through the Menti as well, it's best not to close it up even when you're already answering your question, because along the way we will change the question according to the session, and we'll read out your answers from this. So I think there's some questions
Shall
there
we
are. Uh-huh.
take a look at some Menti input, maybe? If people.
Yes. Wait, let me new share with the Menti. All right. Okay. So some of you already jotted in your observations here. So some people love to talk about themselves. You have okay, it's okay if you haven't do the empathy walk, that's totally fine. We still have 4 weeks coming. And also, ooh, some interesting observations here. A change of perspective is imperative to success. Oh, and through the empathy walk, I was able to understand how my situation is vastly different from others. Hey, awesome. Very good observation. Thank you for going through the empathy walk and also taking the time to reflect back. Observation. So, other observation here is of the disconnected system link to our disconnected self spoke to me. Doing the empathy walk showed me that most people, even those very different from us, want the same things and are blocked by many same human difficulties. Yes, that's true. Even through our vast differences, there are actually a lot of things that makes us common. There you go, observations here. I reached out to a manager of an old folks home. Among many other things, I think one of the things that touched me the most is how a civil servant he taught me being kind doesn't require to be rich. That's true. You can be kind anywhere, anytime. Aw, you have very good observations right here. Awesome, guys. So happy to read this. All right, it's okay if you didn't do it empathy walk. That's fine. And also for those of you who have done the empathy work or are planning to do that, also be mindful of social distancing and also health precautions if the COVID is still rampant in your places. Yeah, be mindful of your health situations. Oh, this is very interesting. A lot of these are very nice. So also want to probably invite Maral. So, do we have? We'll go back to here again, but we also want to hear from those of you commenting through our social media channel. So, Maral, do we have any interesting observation of or questions from Facebook or YouTube? Over to you.
Maral
Oh,
needs to be unmuted.
oh,
uh,
there you go.
Right.
Ah,
Okay. So yes, we have very good, very interesting response from Facebook, from YouTube. So we have. I hope I'm reading the name correct. Um, this is Cayman Lee. Yeah, and basically, he says that what touched me a lot was the world we are living in is in danger. It's alerted that all human being must take action now to the climate crisis. So that's something that that touch from the press experience. Basically, several of us also mentioned how the last session interest about environment and human. So I think that touches that's something that we see from both Facebook and YouTube. How everyone was noticing that more, being more alert, and then and then yes, indeed, I can do self reflections and more calm. I We saw here in Facebook and also YouTube how a lot of the participants are saying how it affected them. The session makes them more calmer, and the emotions are easier to notice. And so yeah, that's basically what we have. So very interesting, and it's nice how everyone are sharing the same vibe. I think a positive, more calming vibe.
it's
that's
true.
awesome. Thank you. So I just, if I may, admit, I have
Mhm.
thank you, is it Kinenoita Irwantoro, who shared about how mindfulness allowed you to notice and paying attention to your emotions and thoughts and feelings. And that's exactly where we're headed with this practice. The idea is that the more you do it, the more aware you become of your own responses to things, and it gives you an opportunity to choose a different course of action. And today, we will, in a little bit, we'll learn more about that, starting with the listening capacity, but more on that later. And for those who did not have an opportunity to do the empathy walk, as Mita said, there's still time, but please, while you're still in the course and there's still motivation for you to do it, please go ahead and do it because I think, as you could probably see from some of the ones, our fellow journeymen and journey women who had a chance to do it, can lead to some really profound observations about yourself and about others and about the way the world works, the way people think about things. And then, of course, there's the bonus point of practicing your empathy in the process. So yes, please do it. And there will be other, as we always say, it'll be practically impossible to expect a profound transformation through just a couple of hours in front of the computer, because really what matters the most is how you carry yourself outside in the real world, when you interact with your challenges and with the people around you. So how are we doing on time? Anything else, Maral or Mita?
Yes, actually, someone just Mia from our Facebook gave a very good comment. And the comment is, human have been quite selfish and busy with our own lives, so that we all barely give time to ourselves to look around our environment and practice and appreciate the beauty of our Mother Nature Earth. I think that's very nice. Everyone keeps on mentioning about this. We are more aware of our environment, and I think Mia just wrapped everything very well.
Awesome. I think we still have around 2 minutes before we close up the breakout. Maybe, I guess, can you remind them um, using a broadcast message that we have around 2 minutes remaining? But before we close out, maybe a couple of observation or sharing insights we can pull up again. I think I'll open up the Mentimeter more. Okay, there's 37 people jotting in right now. So interesting. Just ooh, a lot of you have actually done through the empathy walk. So yay, nice. So yeah, this is one of the interesting ones. I came to realize what need to be done to take care of Earth. After the empathy walk, I became aware that everyone has many ups and downs in life, but how you see through is the most crucial after seeing differences and knowing how to appreciate them. So, yay! Kudos to you too for going through the empathy walk and having that open mind, open heartedness, and open willingness to understand other people better as well, even through your differences and understanding from their perspective. So, as Shobi mentioned, later on through today's course, we will introduce the 4 levels of listening. So, hopefully, that would help you, will guide you as well to understanding how you listen to others better and also how to listen to yourself as well. So, very interesting reflections. Keep them coming. Really want to hear from you. But I think it's already time for us to close out the breakout room, if I'm not mistaken. Later on, when we already invite our participants from the breakouts to join in back, we will ask them to share their observations after listening to one another in the breakout rooms. So thank you very much for those of you who have joined through the streaming and sharing your thoughts, reflections online. Please do keep them coming through either to Mentimeter or other social medias of choice. All right. So I think we can close up the breakout room. All right. So along the course, please do keep your comments or along the way, if you also have any questions, please put them up. You can ask through the social media or our Mentimeter as well. So, yay, I think we have everyone on Zoom already back. Okay, awesome, nice. I see happy faces here.
Well, glad you
I
enjoyed the
know.
conversation.
Yes. Sorry that we have to pull you back abruptly. I know that's very interesting conversations that you're having. And so I think we want to hear some spoilers of your conversation in the breakout room. So if we have any volunteers, you can raise your hand using the reaction button. There's a raise hand option in the Zoom. So you can put that up. or you can also comment in chat if you have any
Come up.
reflection.
You can ask through the social.
Sorry, who is that? Hello.
Maybe continue for now. Maybe that was an accidental unmute
All
or
right.
something.
Okay. I thought there was somebody who wants to share. So yes, anyone in the Zoom room who wants to share your observation after going through the check-in process with our fellow participants in Zoom, would you mind raising your hand in Zoom, and we will highlight you and unmute you so you can share your observations. I think the situation is still cold. I know some of you have very interesting conversations. So judging from your smiles when you got back to this main room, or maybe co-facilitators. Do you want to nominate somebody from your group to share?
I always say if you don't volunteer, you will be voluntold.
Well, I have
That's
someone.
right.
Hi, Mita. I have someone in the uh, room 5, the break
Mhm.
room 5. That is, I think, have a very interesting story. She is. This is the first time she joined. She didn't join the previous meetings, and she had a project. She have a project and working with autistic and disabled person. I think that is
Ooh.
very. I think it requires a lot of skill of being empathetic. So I think her story is like, and this journey would probably help her if there's anything else that she needs to learn, giving her experience with the work that she does. So if she doesn't mind, maybe she can share a bit of her story in the main room so that everybody can hear and be inspired. Thank you.
Yes, please do. Show yourself. Just kidding. So yes, if you're in room 5 with Ngaba, our co-facilitators and co-facilitator who just shared that story, would you mind sharing your observation with us? Who is it? And also, but I mean, at her time, we also have Robbie, our co-facilitator, sharing that a participant in his Zoom room was impressed about what he said about the boat. Ooh, this is very interesting. So, Roby, would you mind highlighting? Is it Zul from Malaysia? If you wanna share with us with the main breakout room. Oh, sorry, in the main Zoom room. So yes, anyone. But we're opening up for anyone. Okay, you need to be unmuted. That's true. Wait, wait. We have so that's true. We need to.
There we go.
There
Unmuted.
you go.
Hi
All
everyone.
right.
I'm Zul from
Hi,
Petaling
Zul.
Jaya, Malaysia. I think you can see me. So
Hi.
I just shared a little bit about my experience of going to the empathy walk, but I don't know whether it fits the criteria of an empathy walk or not. We are currently having a movement control order in Malaysia right now, meaning we in Petaling Jaya in KL means we couldn't go out more than 10 kilometers of our places. So I just went to nearby streets where they have 4 food trucks selling street foods. And I took a chance to go to the least visited food truck and buy a burger from that guy and have some casual chat. And fortunately, he responded well to my questions like how was the sales and how's everything, and he opened up saying that he you know uh, actually struggled to find his ends meet and also to pay for the installment of the food truck and that kind of stuff. And I shared with my breakout room that I feel fortunate, and it makes me feel thankful that we are in the same. I told Robbie that we are in the same ocean. with the same typhoon or bad storm, but then not all of us are on the same boat, meaning some of us have wooden boats, some of us are on a leisure cruise, and some might be on a ship. So we should be thankful that we are still floating, and try to be kind to everyone. So that's what I learned from my empathy walk, if it fits the empathy walk criteria. that's uh, that's all that I can share. Thank you, Pravita.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Zul.
Power whoosh to Zul. One, two,
One,
three.
two, three, whoosh.
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 Oh, so for those of you who just joined today, so you just witnessed the power whoosh. That is our way of giving back very positive energies that were shared for everyone here. Um, After they've shared their positive energies with us. So thank you so much, Azul. And yes, that is an empathy walk, and that is a very interesting observation and very remarkable one for that day. So thank you so much. Awesome. So I think we still have time. Do we have anyone else? Oh, so if you want to share with us, I think because the system is you can't unmute yourself in the Zoom room, please nudge us in the chat box or do raise hand so we can help unmute you. All right. Yes, we have Rosh. Hi,
Hi,
Rosh.
can you hear me?
Hi. Yep.
Hi. Fortunately, I live on campus, so I invited an Indian student. So she's a foreign student. So I invited her for a morning walk, a morning picnic. And we just had a very casual conversation, and she told me her story, that she's been here, living here in the Philippines, studying for 3 years. And I just admire her for her resilience because she she doesn't have anyone to support her, and since it was lockdown, she for just to pay for her student visa, that's 18,000 pesos. In during the lockdown, she found a way to sell chili and all other Indian delicacies, and she was able to raise the money. And I was just very I just admire that resilience and how she was able to uh rise above the situation. And I think next school year, God willing, if there's face to face classes, parang it kind of taught me a lesson to be more to approach more foreign students. Yeah, but I learned she's someone that's very positive and tries to rise above every challenges. So yeah, that's what I learned from our empathy walk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosh. Power wish to you and your friend. One, two, three. Whoosh. It's it's amazing that we can find inspiration, also greater appreciation towards people around us better when we took the time to truly listen and understand what is it that they're facing, and also understanding where that's coming from and where that their energy is coming from. It's always an amazing journey being open to a new world that you haven't known before, and through the eyes of another. So thank you so much for going through that journey of empathy walk with your friend Rush. Thank you. So I think we still have time for one more if anyone is still interested to share.
Oh, the person from my group say that she couldn't unmute herself, so
Oh,
you might want to. Vietnam
what's her
Zone.
name? Namzo.
Vietnam
All right.
Zone.
All right. Okay. So you're unmuted. Are
Hi.
you? Is your camera on? Oh, not yet. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Zune,
Sorry.
you're unmuted.
Yeah. Thank you. So I did enjoy the last meeting. So I didn't do the empathy work. But the story I share in the breakout room is I'm working on a project with people with autism in Vietnam, and it started when I was at university as a volunteer work, and I did the work with my with other friends, and we started with a very small project to help organize play days for children with autism, and then another project to translate and publish materials for parents of children with autism, because the material sources in Vietnam is was very rare. Um, Especially like uh, high quality books on autism, and also we also do some awareness raising awareness about autism in Vietnam, because many people in Vietnam still don't understand about it, and they still mistake it with depression, or with some mental health problems, or some disease, something like that. Um, but so I got involved in the community, and really wanted to do something with them. And I'm now working on a project to help with the employment for adults with autism. But it was a really big project for myself and even for everyone here. And although I really want to do something with it, I also had a lot of I also struggle a lot with my like my expectation on myself, myself abilities, or like what other people expect of me, what can I do and what I really want to do. So it's really a long journey that I want to so I really want to learn about myself and want to develop myself, so that I can, yeah, I can work on this project. It's a long journey, I think. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zoom, for sharing with us. Ah, so power whoosh to Zoom. One, two, three, whoosh. So it's amazing the project that you're working on. Um it's such an
I think
amazing effort. Yeah.
I also saw in the on social media somebody is working on education,
Mm.
others are working on environment. Now you're Zung, thank you for bringing in your voice and your intention around how can we serve and create a better world for our friends, brothers, and sisters with special needs. So I just love the breadth and depth of the intention that we bring into this space, and hopefully we can work with that. And as you said, Jung, having that deeper self knowledge to understand how you can step up into the role that you feel is meant for you. And I think, Amit, I just want to also acknowledge. I think this today is actually a holiday in the U.S., right? The first federal holiday, Juneteenth. I think very timely that we are here together celebrating and empowering each other for change, while the U.S. and our hosts, is of course from the U.S. Embassy, our friends in the U.S. are celebrating their first federal holiday commemorating a change around inclusivity and diversity. So yay, yay us.
Power whoosh to everyone. One, two, three, whoosh. Thank you so much. So to start off that intention through this, so like last week we were just introducing all about Theory U, but today is where we start our first step going through the U journey process. Is now where we're inviting you to co-initiate this moment together towards creating the change with the way we want to see it happening in the world. So, bringing your intention now that you have shared with us so wonderfully, um, and taking that forward, and also with that empathy while being able to understand your system and your situation better. What we want to invite you now is this first step going through the U process with the people you trust together to go through this journey together is how we can listen not only to the what the world needs right now, but also listening to ourselves. What can I give into the world today? Uh, and going forward to the change we want to see happening in the world. So, this in the co-initiating process is the first one out of the five that we'll go through to the next 5 weeks. Um, we're here inviting you to uncover the common intent. What is it? What are the vision? What is the change you want to see creating happening in the world? And also listening to the others and yourself. How can we create that together? So to some to break down the steps, there are this four uh, main process that we want to invite you to go through this co-initiating process is to first of all is to attend, to listen deeply. What is it that life calls you to do? So what is your calling? What do you want to serve this into the world? Maybe just like Zoom has shared her project, and also our friends in social media who are working on environmental issues, education, and all sorts of issues that are tackling in front of them. This is what we want you to realize. That's why the mindfulness exercise that we've introduced you in the start of today's course is important, because to be able to listen truly to what is it that you want to do, you need to have a greater awareness and understanding about yourself first, right? So that's first, to realize what do you want to do, what do you want to give into the world. And second of all is to connect, where you we invite you to listen and have a dialogue with the people, with the stakeholders in your communities that are very crucial to the change that you want to see happening into the world. So, no, first of all, you notice what is your role and how can you work to that role. And second is to connect and understanding who are the players that I need to be mindful of to connect with, and to listen to them and have dialogues to understand what is it that can they can help me with, and also how can we together as a community create that change together. So next, when you have connected through with these people, is to three, to co-initiate the movement. So having that vision being spread out, the same vision being spread out to your teams, and making that common intention your main goal of going through the journey. That's where you then, first of all, you realize you can create this team to go on together and creating that change and you want to see happening into this world. So this team are the people who you hope for going through this large intention together, and also to become your, later on we'll invite you also to understand this better, to be your holding space to support one another along the journey, and also to um, for you to go through the journey and clarify essential questions that are relevant for you to uncover and understand how can this intention work better, how can this intention be realized into this world. So as the saying goes, all deep innovation journeys begin with the process of co-initiating. Before you start, you need to have that supporting group, and also being able to uncover the questions that you want to answer into the world, and understanding your role in answering these questions. Do you want to add anything before we go through the listening process? Nope. All
Nope.
right. Oh, all right. I'll say. So, okay. So as we invite you to realizing what are the questions, your intention that you have shared with us, and hopefully that could be your anchor going on through the you journey together with us, and also with yourself and your team. What we want to introduce to you next is how then you can connect better with your team, the people around you, and also the stakeholders that you find very crucial for this movement to go on. Um, as we've spoiled before, one of the key of doing this is to understand and practice your listening capabilities. So sometimes when we say we listen, we tend to not understand, are we really listening to the person because we really want to listen to them, or are we just listening because we want to give back our opinions to them later on? So now is we will introduce to you something that we call the 4 levels of listening, where we invite you to understand in which levels are you operating for, and hopefully by noticing these 4 levels you can also be more mindful of how you listen to others as well. So how does this work, Shobi, for the 4 levels of listening?
Well, before we get there,
Oh, oh,
I
okay.
just don't turn the slide yet.
Oh, yep.
I just want to say that this next steps that we're gonna take you into uh, perhaps form the third core practice that we've introduced to you in U.LabX so far. Right? So the first one being from last week, bending back the beam of observation, of paying attention to ourselves while also paying attention to the things that we want to see in the world, what we want to achieve, and the things that we are doing on the outside. And then the second is what we did this morning, which is the mindfulness practice. Um, the mindfulness practice gives us a space to really observe the now, and more importantly, observe and get to know who we are as a person, so that we can grow and choose different paths of actions as leaders. Right. The third is this listening as a leadership capacity or a leadership tool and as a core practice. I guess you could say that mindfulness is also a way to give ourselves space to listen to ourselves. Right. It's a me to me connection, the self to self connection. So, what is so special about listening? I would say it's probably one of the most underrated leadership capacity. We've all heard about public speaking. There's schools, majors, research being done about public speaking, but I think there's very little attention in the world as it is being given to the art of listening. And perhaps on pair with that is the art of asking great questions. So, what's so special about listening? I think we all probably feel at some point that we're good listeners, right? To a degree, at some levels. So, well, I think apparently there are deeper levels to the levels that we're used to listening. So, Amit, if you would help me uh, advance the slide a bit.
Oops. Ah, wait. Here you go.
There we go. Yes, thank you. So the first, I think we've all experienced. So you see, there are 3 lines there, right? So there are 4 levels of listening that we, at least within the U practitioner circle, we notice that there are 4 different levels of listening. Most of us are familiar with the top 2. The first one being what we call it level 1. It's called downloading. It's a place of listening from habits of judgment. We're listening from a place that is already familiar. What happens when you're listening from a place that's already familiar is you're actually putting on a filter where you only hear what you want to hear, right? And you're in some ways that nothing changes. There's no resistance. There's no feelings of discomfort because, well, it's just the same old, right? It's something that we already know. Um, Beneath that is the second level of listening, which is the factual listening. So notice that the first one is listening from habit. And then the second one is we are actually starting to notice differences between us and whatever or whoever it is that we're listening to, noticing differences. And what happens, what you might notice when you start doing this is next, you start to notice that there are different data points. I think in your empathy walk, check in, some of you already mentioned, you notice how different you are from others, right? So that's good. So at that point, I think you're noticing that, well, indeed, there are many ways of thinking. There are many ways of seeing things in the world, and that I'm just different from this other person. Okay, um, to be able to listen well at this second level two, there's an instrument inside ourselves that we need to fine tune, an instrument that we need to really check in with ourselves. Is this in a state of openness? And that instrument is called the open mind. The open mind allows you to remind ourselves, this is where your mindfulness practice comes in. When you notice that you're being closed off, and kicking you back up to level one of listening, is to open your mind and think and remind yourself that yes, we're just different. It's not necessarily good or bad, right or wrong. It's suspending our habits of judgment and just noticing that there are differences. That's it, and allowing that differences to be. Okay. So I think most of us are quite familiar with this. Either you feel like you're listening from a place that's comfortable, familiar, or you're listening from a place of a lot of discomfort because you're noticing differences. So what we notice is that these two levels can work to a degree to help us understand systems better and understand ourselves better and understand others better. But when it comes to leading profound transformation, profound change, you need to access the deeper levels of listening. There are deeper ways of attending to a situation from our place of listening. That next one, the level three listening, we call it empathic listening. So you're listening. It's no longer like you're looking at whatever it is that you're engaging with, but you're placing yourself from within the situation, right? So you're no longer looking from outside, you're looking at it from within the situation itself and learning to see through others' eyes. Um, what happens then, what I next is you get emotional connection, right? So I think if you had a chance to do the empathy walk again, if you hadn't had a chance, please do it, because this is really a golden opportunity for you to experience firsthand what it's like when you feel that sense of empathy. What's happening is that you're attending to the situation from a deeper level, not from your head of wanting to understand at a cognitive level, but being connected emotionally and having what we call the open heart. Okay? Listening with an open heart, allowing yourself to just be with that person. I think Zul, for example, when you said empathizing with the food truck guy, right? Realizing that yes, we're in this together, but some of us have meet pala di next open heart niya. Some of us are, we're equipped with different boats. Some of us are born into large boats. Some of us were able to build large boats. Some of us has this very, rickety old little raft that then we have to navigate the same rough seas. And so I think, Azul, if I may be so bold, I think you notice, right, when you realize that there's that quality of emotional connection, of empathy, in the way you connect with this person, right? And I think that is that opening when you open your heart and allowing yourself to connect to the situation. At that level, you change. Yeah. Very rarely I see change happening when you're only thinking about things at the head level. But once you start using your open heart in attending to the situation, you allow some change to happen. And that openness is the key. It's very hard to change something that is like hard, closed up, and very, very rigid. But once you open up and be a little bit softer, then change happens. So, okay, empathy connection is great, but apparently there's the next level, and this is really the key to profound transformation. Is just not only listening to this person or this situation from empathy of what it is right now, but if you move one step deeper into your next level of listening, you can actually start to listen from an emerging future. From Remember, this is why we always ask about what is your intention. Always refine it. Ask yourself, is this what is your intention in going through this process? It's taking yourself back into that intention of what is this future that wants to emerge and can be enabled through my listening, through my being present differently in this situation. And what happens then? Can you next advance the slide a bit, Nick? Uh, Transformation, emerging future whole. What you notice might be you shift a bit. And this shift might be subtle, right? I think all profound transformation starts with really, really small understanding. The next step of understanding who you are, the next step of understanding how the world works, the next step of understanding your stakeholders or your beneficiaries. But the shift in identity and in self allows you to kind of envision the future as a system that is whole. Remember our overview effect video, right? So you can see the oneness of the future that wants to happen through this conversation and or through this place of listening. And in order to do that, there's a third instrument inside yourself that needs to also remain open in your active listening, and that is the open will. The open will, why is it called the open will? Because sometimes, often, what's preventing us from really seeing what future can emerge is our not willingness to let go. Is so you know that we're closing up our will. We say we want change, but we don't dare to change. So that open will, the willingness to open up, is it comes with that deeper level, the deepest level of listening and engaging with the world around us, engaging with ourselves. So, what does it look like? Sometimes on a practical level, we sometimes joke that the open will, the generative listening, level 4, listening from the future that wants to emerge, kind of happens when you're trying to envision the family that you want to build together with the person that you're courting or the person that you love, your fiance or your boyfriend, girlfriend, right? It's like you're listening to this person from a place of, oh, the world is going to be great because we're going to have a family, or we're going to have a kid together, or I'm going to have this career, you're going to have that career, we're going to do this together, right? It's that place of listening from the future that wants to emerge. And can you imagine if we bring that level of connectedness, that level of belief in something as you listen to your surroundings every day, not only in a romantic situation and a personal development, but also in terms of the potential that you want to see happen in the work that you're doing. Everything around us has potential. It has the potential to live up to its fullest capacity. Whether that's a person, us, whether that's a relationship, whether that's an organization or a place or a community, everything has a potential to live up to its highest feature, state. And so this level 4 is the act of um, believing is seeing, because you know that feature is there. Then you bring that to the way you listen and tend to the situation. So with that, as always, it's best to be experienced and understood firsthand instead of listening to me talk about it. It's like riding a bicycle, right? You can't ride a bicycle by watching somebody do it. You have to do it yourself. Likewise, learning to swim, whatever it is. So we're going to switch to practicing now. Next, so you'll be brought back into, if you're in Zoom, you'll be brought back into your sorry, not back there, not back into the Zoom groups, but we will ask you to kind of practice on smaller group. And what happens is we want to invite you to share. One person will share, and then the other two will listen. And what we're asking you to share is, let's look back on your life's journey so far, and what were one or two moments in your life that you feel shaped or clarify your sense of who you are right now as a person, right? Perhaps it is a chance meeting with someone, perhaps it is a relationship with a mentor or a coach. Maybe it's a past life difficulty. Maybe you went through really, really hard times and it shaped who you are. Whatever it is, just take a moment to share, to think about it. And then, since the time is only 15 minutes, we probably won't have time for all of you to give it a try. So, if you don't have a chance to share, then my invitation is to practice your listening, right? Remember the four levels: downloading, factual, and then empathic and generative. And then just pay attention to your quality of listening. Whether you're listening to this person on a factual level, just noticing the differences, or are you able to empathize, or even think about them as who they could be, or think of who you are as who you could be in the future. Okay, so groups of three, enjoy your conversation. And if you're not on Zoom, it will be difficult to have small group conversation. But what we want you to reflect on, if you're watching on social media and through our streaming services, um, and your journaling book might help in this case. We'll take a moment or two to look back on our or your own journey, and maybe recall moments in your life where being seen or being listened to, being heard, um, on a deeper level has allowed you to come out as who you really are, and how that shaped your own journey. So we just kind of wanted to highlight what is the power of listening and dramatically or profoundly transforming the quality of one's being. So let's take a minute or two as you kind of dig deep into your past journey. And when you find it, please share it with us on Mentimeter or social media channels, and then we'll pick it up from there, see what you share with us.
So for the breakouts, I think we can open them up. So participants, if Akia, if you may open. Okay, awesome. So for the Zoom participants, you are already invited to a group of three, two, four. Enjoy your conversation happening in the breakout rooms. And as always, while we wait for you in the breakouts, we will pick up um, our streaming participants' reflections online. Just put this up. If you're jotting in through the Mentimeter, the question is there. The moments where you felt seen or being listened in a deeper level, and how did that moment impact your leadership journey? If you're joining in through other streaming channels, Facebook or YouTube, you can share it in the chat or the comment page. I think we kind of had trouble a couple of minutes ago, but I think it's already up and running, right? So I'll just stop here our presentation. And okay, our participants in Zoom are already in breakouts. And while we wait,
Hi, Meet. Sorry, I think, do you mind like repeating the question for our friends that are not on Zoom? Because I think they're wondering, because again, it's like the previous part, right? So we'll be here, you and me, and Kashobi will be here. And so they can just answer it on the Facebook and YouTube, and I'll make sure to read it out. Because I think some of us are still missing that. So can you mind repeating, please?
Yeah, let's just have the screen up so that people can always check back on it.
All right.
So yes, the question. Thank you, Maral, for reminding us. So the invitation is to look back on your own journey. because we were talking about the power of listening as a leadership capacity and its transformative power of listening. So the invitation is to look back and take your moment to maybe recall one or two times where being seen or being heard, being listened to on a deeper level, actually impacted or have an effect on who you are on your leadership journey. And then share that moment, if you don't mind, with us on Mentimeter or social media channels.
So we'll put this up in a while. If you're joining in through Mentimeter, you can see the question on the page. Oops, sorry, I haven't changed the page yet. Let me wait. There you go. For those of you joining in through Mentimeter, the question just changed to the moments that you have felt seen, being deeper to listen to in a deeper level, and how did that moment impact your leadership journey? So as we wait for participants from the Mentimeter, do we have anyone jotting in from other social medias yet?
Yes, we actually
Ah,
already have uh,
mm-hmm.
everyone is super quick and eager in answering. So we have, I think this is from John. Uh, 1 second. Sorry. That that moment was important because it was the first time I was tasked to lead, and it really made me a better and effective leader. So yes, when I okay, sorry, I think I missed a part of that. The previous part was when I volunteered to be the project leader of a group. I was able to give my inputs for the said project, and at the same time listen to the input and constructive criticism of my fellow leaders. So that moment was important because it was the first time John was tasked to lead, and it really made him a better and effective leader.
Awesome. Power wish to John. 26. Wish. Thank you for bringing that up, Mara.
I think our friends streaming might have a little bit of connectivity problems. Actually, not you; it's us. So sorry if your learning is a bit interrupted, but we should be back up now. Yes, so it might take us a while. There we go. Now people are just joining in and just seeing comments up now. So
Ah,
yes, thank you, John. Volunteer and being a leader. I think in terms of listening, if you are the leader, it's a great opportunity to also listen to others. And I think when people give you the trust to be a leader, that's I think in a way that's also a way of being seen first as having the capacity to lead before maybe you yourself feel like you're capable of it, right?
I think we also have some people already checking in through Mentimeter. Let me change my screen here for a bit. And there you go. Ooh, oh, very interesting reflections here. Power of listening is one of the most important things that can impact our leadership skill. Listening level can also describe about how you are exactly, and if you listen to other opinions, that could make a good decision to project. Interesting. Aw, the interesting observation right here. Uh, moments where you felt seen or being listened to deeply is When I was at my career turning point, I faced a perceived threat to not leave my current department and was devastated to how politics were at play. But at the moment, my mentor from Scotland listened to my challenges and guided me. That made all the difference. Oh, thank you for sharing that with us. So hopefully, um, you find a better resolution to your situation, especially at least being listened to about your situation makes all the differences in the world. That I agree so much, especially having a mentor like Shobi. Shout out. So yes, thank you very much for sharing that with us. Hopefully, you'll find a better way to in your situation right now.
Yeah, I think oftentimes, so this is also, I think it works both ways, right? So, those of
Mhm.
you, as I mentioned before, if you happen to be entrusted with the opportunity to be a leader or a mentor to others, I think perhaps our most important role is to see and believe in others' potential even before they or the team or the situation itself could find that feature. So
Aw,
that's kind of that's always where I try to operate from. And yes, so actually listening at a deeper level, beyond the factual. You can always debate the facts, right? Person will have excuses. They'll try to explain to you the situation, but if you can listen at the deeper level of empathy, what is it really that they're afraid of? What are their fears? What are your own fears? What are their hopes? What are your own true hopes? Not the hopes that's defined by the project or by the situation, but your own expectation of what the situation is or your own vision. Um, I think having the clarity to listen to those deeper levels really make all the difference in the way you guide or coach a person or a team or a project in moving forward.
thank you so much, Shobi. Power wish to you. One, two, three. Whoosh. And also power wish to those who shared here in Mentimeters as well. One, two, three. Whoosh. Thank you so much. These are very interesting. Aw, somebody shared here when I was delegate head for our school's Model United Nations at the time of the beginning of the pandemic. I felt listened to because we were all having difficulties adjusting to online classes. It's true. I think also one of the most profound moments of being able to truly listen to others is understanding you're not the only person in your boat. There are other people who are facing the same challenges, and having that understanding that you're not alone in this journey also makes the great difference because you have somebody you can share with that has gone through the same process, and you can share this feeling together and not being alone in whatever challenges that arises in front of you. So even even you are way separated at different in different time in different spaces, in different locations, such as us connecting here with a very different medium, uh, like we did before. We still are connected with the same intention to create change, what we want to see happen for a more sustainable future for all of us. So it's a very profound moment to be able to listen and understand that you're not alone in this journey. Thank you for sharing. So, do we have any other people sharing in through the YouTube or Facebook channels?
Yes, I would like to read one story. This is from Facebook from Bianca. And basically, Bianca mentioned, sorry, just one second. Um, right. So Bianca from Philippines, she said, I'm a project manager deployed in Davao at the time and I had encounter with an elder Muslim leader in the area, and they thought I was just an intern. I thought they would not listen to me, but what I did is to get to know them by having a meal with them every time I get the opportunity and listening to them, and that is how I understand what they wanted me to do with the project and implement it incorporating their suggestions. It was really a great experience. I think that's a very nice example because technically she had the capability, I mean, the level and everything else. But then instead of being defensive, right, she decided to listen. And that's how she gained the trust and create the, I think that's a very strong leadership sample. So thank you for sharing, Bianca.
Thank you, Mara. I think I just want to highlight, since Bianca mentioned about having meals with these the project leaders, right? And so I think I want to highlight the power of informal spaces. Oftentimes, if you try to listen, somehow I think formal meetings are not the best places for listening at a deeper level because we tend to focus either on what we already know or we focus more on facts, but not so much on giving space to really talk about how people see, perceive, expect, or hope or believe in a situation. Right? And so, yes, inviting people out for coffee, for chats, for walks. I love walks. I think that's usually one of the better places to practice our listening, which is why we call it empathy walk, right? So and also for others who I think the mentee had some responses that we didn't have a chance to pick up on. So I guess I just wanted to highlight that I hope this also in finding these moments along your journey helps you understand that it was actually why some moments are more transformative than others because it these moments are able to touch us at the core of who we really are in terms of our values, our beliefs, fears, and hopes, and vision and intention. So listening is a great way to get there. So yes, keep practicing, and I think at the end of this today's session, we will give you more tools that you can practice at your own time outside of the class. So
I think we still have a minute before we invite our participants from the breakout room back. But so maybe if there's any one or two more reflections from Facebook or from YouTube that we can pull up.
Yeah, there's one
Mhm.
story here. This is from Mia, and basically, she said, "The moment I teach at my college, and when my students attentively listen to me, either to either for lessons or their personal development, and that counts for me too as a listener, listening to their problems with their assignments, personal lives, requests for suggestions, and that counts for me too as a listener, listening to their problems. Oh, right, sorry, that's a yeah, right. So, listening. So I think it goes two ways, right? Mia being also the professor or teacher. So technically, the student would have listened, but then maybe my understanding is had Mia decide not to actually be as open to also be a good listener, the communication would not be. So that really, it's a very good example of how the listening makes it more effective.
It's very true. Power wish to Mia. One, two, three. Whoosh. All right. So I think so salutes to you for those opening up to being a good listener and also trying to tap into that source of your past experience of being able to be listened, as Chui mentioned. So I think we can close up the breakout rooms for the participants joining in through Zoom. Yeah, things are all coming back. Okay, just in a couple of seconds here, we will invite our participants in Zoom to share how they feel after going through the process. So more, not more of their journey, but more on the experience of being listened to. So later on, we'll share the slides for you. And hey, happy faces again back. Hi, welcome back, everyone. So, do we? So, is the time enough now? This is a trick question, actually.
the answer is always no.
So the answer is always no. Yep. So yeah, no, not enough time. Sorry about that. So, but we do still want to listen from you. Um, some of you didn't expect a 101 conversation, but it's pretty fun. I know, right? And especially now that you've are being connected with participants across Southeast Asia here. It's more incredible experience because you can learn to listen to somebody who may be very different or similar to you. So, what we want to invite you now here for the participants in Zoom is to share with us your observation. So, not more about the stories that you've shared in the Zoom room, but more of the observation after being listened. So, what we want to invite you to share with us is how do you feel after being listened uh, to listen and being listened to? And do you notice what did you notice about your levels of listening? In which level are you operating from? And if you realize that, and if you want to go deeper, what are the things that you notice might distract or prevent you from moving to one level to the other? If you realize that there are any challenges to go into this, please do share with us. So you don't have to share, you don't have to answer all of the questions. Just pick one that resonates the most with you for those of you joining into the Zoom.
And you don't need to share the story either, right? This is, again, it's not about what was being talked about, but more about how you feel and how you notice what you notice about yourself, whether you as the person sharing or you as the person listening. What was it about that listening process? So, any hands raised or anything you want to share in the chat?
So if you want to share, you can nudge
We'll wait
us.
a bit. I think people usually
Yeah.
shy.
It's okay. I'll put up the fire first for you to get hot. Just kidding. So, but yeah, if you want to share, because you can't unmute yourself, please nudge us. You can raise your hand or alarm us at the chat. You can share, just say if you want to share with us through the chat.
If you're anything like me, probably your first experience trying to share about something to strangers, I think the first thing that comes to your mind is, would they care? Why should I share? Why do I matter? Why does this story matter to them? Right? And I think that's an example of being aware of the voices that are inside of our head, um, instead of uh, actually fully opening, because actually opening up at a deeper level involves showing vulnerability, which takes some practice and takes some getting used to discomfort. And if you're like most people, listening at a deeper level usually involves wanting to interject or wanting to jump in with your own story to what is being told. I think we've all been there, right? You're trying to tell somebody a story, and then instead of listening, they come back at you with like their own version of what's going on. You're like, yeah, but I was going to tell you something. So I don't know. That's usually how when I first noticed my levels of listening or my levels of openness. Oh, people are sharing in the chat. Thank you. Yep. You wanna? Okay, we have a couple of
Oh,
chat and we have a raised hand. Okay, Yep, which one you want to call first?
probably go read. Um, probably ask the participants who raised hand first. Hey, we have Mega here raising. Hi, Mega. Wait, you can unmute yourself, right? All right.
Yeah, true. Yeah, even though I am co-facilitator here and more of listening, but I feel that so much a kind of heartwarming because uh, in the session I feel that no push, no forcement, no just flow and we got to exchange a little bit of our understanding, and of course our values in terms of like the turning point of our life, and that's awesome. I just feel it like, oh, okay, I can learn a lot, and understanding that we are here all learning, it's also very, very useful. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And also, Kevin, if you want to share a thing or two, please. Kevin from Philippines.
Shout out. Thank you, Mega Power. Wish to you. One, two, three.
1, 2, 3. Maybe while we wait for Kevin, we can give opportunity to either the chat or to Prasetyo from Indonesia.
I think we can ask Prasetyo first.
Go ahead.
Um,
Oh, we'll
oh,
need
wait.
to unmute.
Yep. All right. There you go.
Thank you very much about this question. First, I think for me it is harder to be a listener than to be to be listened to. Uh, uh, because uh, uh, looking back, I was much a speaker, a talker than a listener. That I sometimes I many times I have been distracted from someone when someone talk to me that for me it is harder to me for being a listener. uh, then about the level of how I listen to someone, honestly I think that I still in the level one, uh, still in the level that I only reconfirming my old belief, because sometimes sometimes I tend to like an argument that uh, uh, com uh, similar with my belief, and quite skip when an argument is not suitable with what I think and what I believe. That is for me.
All right. Thank you, Prasetyo from Indonesia, Mas Pras. Uh, so I think yes, I think you're quite consistent, right? It's difficult to get past the downloading, reconfirming old judgment if you get easily distracted and you're not fully paying attention. But I want to congratulate you. But now at least you have that awareness, right? That, oh, this is where my level of listening is. And I think for many people, it's a realization that never happens. And they just blindly go through life operating at that level and getting frustrated about why things aren't changing. So being aware is the first step, and then the second step is to keep practicing and reflecting. Throw in your mindfulness and journaling in there, and I think you should start seeing. Hopefully, you should start seeing things change. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Power. Wish to
So
you, Pras. One,
one,
two,
two,
three.
three. Whoosh, and for
Whoosh.
Mega as well. Whoosh.
Oh yeah. Double whoosh.
um, Can I call on? I think Daniel from.
Mm.
I want to highlight from the chat because Daniel said that you noticed that your level of listening was changing. Uh, Anything you want to share about that, Daniel? What did you notice about that moment? If you can, let me see if I can unmute you. There you go, Daniel.
Being put on the spot. Oh, I think we still you hear echoes, Daniel. Sorry from where you're at. Oh, it's a bit noisy in your location. All right. Okay. No worries. No worries. So,
Maybe just share what you notice in the chat so that we can pick it up
uh-huh.
for others. By the way, why we always we're always harvesting for insights. It's because collective learning is also important for this process, right? Understanding how people listen allows you to mirror it back to your own situation, and that also helps sharpen your own self understanding and self knowledge about yourself and the situation. So, to the next raise hand, maybe. I mean, do we
Yep,
still have time?
we have, yes, we have Rina from Philippines. Oh, wait, we'll unmute you.
Sorry.
There you go.
There. Hi. Hi,
Yes.
everyone.
Hi, Rina.
Um, yeah, I think with this, it's actually the listening part of the book is my favorite. I already told my friend about this. So I realized that I was really a bad listener for the past years. And and after I read this book, and then I was back home for a few months to take a break. I realized that my level of, and also from the breakout uh, part earlier, I realized that my level of listening is different because I was able to listen to another person that I'm not really familiar, and a complete stranger. Wherein usually before, with the kind of job that I have, I'm in sales and marketing. I would only prefer listening to people where I can get sales from. I would approach people, and then once I approach people, I would already have this in mind that I'm going to sell my product to this person. So I would only listen, I would only filter what I listen from them. If he talks or if she talks about her life, her family, I would just maybe pick a little, but then I would jump into wanting to divert the conversion into sales. So that's the kind of speaker and talker that I was. But then I realized right now that it's important to also listen, because as a person, I would want to be listened to. Whatever I am sharing, or if there is something that I want to talk about with another person, I want that person to also give time to listen to me. So um, I would also want that. So that's why right now, when someone wants to talk to me or someone wants to share with me something, I would really take time to listen and not interrupt. That's what I'm usually before that. If someone talks, I would usually, so that I won't forget what I wanted to say. So I would butt in, like, oh yeah, I have that experience too, and then that's the thing I do. So it's all about me again. So I would want to refrain from that because I want to listen to that person, because I want to also think that or realize that maybe that person has something to also share with me that will be beneficial to me too. So I just have to listen before I talk about something, and then I manipulate the conversation to myself. So yeah, so that's what I want. I realize right now that I'm slowly changing to a different kind of listener. Thank you.
Our wish for now. One, two, three, wish.
Thank
Whoosh.
you.
I think I just want to highlight one thing from Renamit, if I may, is I think the shift that you're experiencing also, and this is something that's worth mentioning in terms of moving towards level 4 of listening, generative listening. A lot of it is about getting yourself out of the way, right? It's no longer about what you want out of the situation. It's not about your agenda, but because sometimes our agenda is part of the problem. But it's about understanding what the situation or the future can be and how we can support that to becoming into being through this my act of listening and my act of being present. So yes, thank you, Power Wish. And do we have time for the last raised hand? Smith?
Yeah, I would also want to highlight some of these very interesting conversation in chat, just because just a quickie here. We have Edelina here from Timor Leste who shared that it's interesting because she shared that she loves to listen to someone because she can learn. I think this is a she. We can learn from them just like about their stories and their experience, and She likes to be their kind of person who spends time listening to the stories or the problems, because then you could get help, get feedback, and feel helpful. And I think this is Ilham, who is Angelina's listening mate, and it's a reflection also for him, because now he realized that uh, he could need room for improvement. But uh, it's okay. As we have shared collectively in this breakout room, in this main room, just as Shobi mentioned, it's great to know, first of all, be aware of that, and then try again. As also we've mentioned in our first meeting, that one of the key of being able to do this is also iterate the three P's: practice, practice, and practice. So it's okay. Practice your listening and practice realizing in which level that you're operating from. So back over
By the
to you,
way,
Shobi.
I tell the same thing to my 6 year old. Like any way to get better at anything, the three P's: practice, practice, practice. Naba has a raised hand.
Mm-hmm. I think yes, yes, Ngaba, we still have time.
Yeah, this is more of a question that was raised in my room.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, is there any exception or uh, is there any situation where we don't require to get deeper into our listening level? Like when you recognize that, okay, this is like, for example, like you're debating policy where you're taking a stand, then is it okay that you are only operating in the second level of listening where actually you have the ability to go deeper? Thank you.
Interesting question. Over to you, Shobi.
So, great question. Actually, very true. Uh, where do I start? So, the answer is yes and no. My favorite answer. Yes and no. Yes meaning, of course, in life there are different situations. There are situations where you have to stand your ground. The no being, um, don't make that into an excuse to not listen deeper, right? Because our I was just watching a Netflix series about the human body, and it was talking about brain, the nervous system, and how our mind has a tendency to want to be right, to want to be precise, and sometimes it gets ourselves into a place of denial without us even realizing it, right? So the fact that there are places where you don't need to listen deeply doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn the skill of observing your own level of listening, being able to shift your place of listening, so that in other situation you can choose mindfully, make that decision, knowing that what's happening here, the way I bring myself into a situation, could make a big difference in the way the situation unfolds, right? So, what are moments where you don't need to listen deeply? Well, for example, if you're just getting to know somebody, usually level one is a place where you want to do like small talks. You're just getting to know someone. Of course, you start with the light things, right? How is the weather, traffic? It's okay to just listen to what is familiar, what everybody knows. Actually, this is a bit of a sneak peek towards the next one, the next session about conversation. Now it's about listening, but when there are two people involved, then it becomes conversation. And when both people are operating at a factual level, what happens is debate, right? You're just pitching fact against fact, and you just want to be right. Very rarely I see people coming out transformed. Transformed meaning being a whole totally different person coming out of the conversation just by throwing facts at one another, just by debating. But are there places where it counts? Of course, in court, maybe, or if you're working with a scientific presentation, of course, you have to focus on the facts. But if you're working towards societal change and you want to see behavioral change, for example, right? I know this is a whole field of learning behavioral change. How to, if you want to see larger change, you have to change people's behavior. How do you change people's behavior? You can't tell people how to behave, right? But bringing yourself in a place of deeper listening, oftentimes this that simple act allow people to change their own behavior. So as we call it, I think if you read Otto's book, or if you go to the Presencing website, um, we often talk about this quality of listening as the soil condition, right? If you're trying to grow something, you don't just tell the plant how to grow, right? You can't just say, okay, you have to bear fruit now. You have to. Unfortunately, that's the way we think the world runs. That we have projects with hard timelines and milestones, but the world doesn't run like that. Well, as farmers, as nurturers of things, as parents, you can't tell living things how to act. What you can pay attention to is the quality of the environment that it's in. And that quality, in terms of human to human connection, that quality manifests itself in the way we listen to one another. So when you listen deeply, you allow people to see their own situation. And I think I see that from one of your check-ins today, how being entrusted with the having being trusted, being listened to, being seen in terms of your fullest capacity, your highest future potential has the capacity to change someone, and then they start to see things for themselves. So sorry, that's my long answer. Yes and no is the short one.
Thank thank you very much, Shobi, for that very profound answer and insight.
Thank you, Gabo, for raising it. And actually, that brings us to our next section, which is Q&A, right, Mit?
Yeah.
Do we still have
So
time?
that's a problem. I think we have very limited time left, but please do raise your questions with us. You Mentimeter through the social medias, comments, and live chat. We'll round them up, but unfortunately, I don't think we'll have time to answer them now. But if we have time the next week, we'll interesting questions. We can round them up and brought them up again in the next coming weeks. Don't worry, we still have 4 weeks of meeting coming up because I think there are a couple of things that we need to remind again, if that's okay. So I think to sum up a bit of our journey, um, we want to remind you again to co-initiate your intention with your teams, the people you trust most, to go through the journey together with you. But to do so is where today we already round up. One of the practices that we can do is to listen in a more profound way and understanding in which level that we're listening from, we're operating from. So to do so, we want to invite you to do something that we call the case clinic. So this is going to be your next homework. So your first one was the empathy walk. Now is the case clinic. Now, with your teams or with the people they trust most, want to invite you to go through this process. Your guidelines to do this process is available through this link. It's bit.ly/U.LabX 2021 CC. So all of these guides will be available in our main Google Drive link. I will share the link after the session's finished, and also the check-in link for those of you joining online. So, uh, just to sum up, this case clinic is a 60-minute process of somebody sharing their cases and being listened more from a profound level. So this process enables you to find wisdom and experience and understand a situation in a more profound way because you're not now enabled to jump into solutions. You are given time more to be able to reflect deeply and mirror the situation deeply, listen deeply to the case that is presented to you from somebody in your team who have shared their experience. So hopefully we can find a more creative and innovative way of looking to the situation, and also it enables you to create and establish a more strengthened relationship between the people in your team who has gone through this process. So to do the case clinic, it probably needs around 5 people at most. So hopefully you can find somebody in your team, 5 people who can go through this process. This trust me, it will be very profound to do. You can find somebody in this group of U.Lab practitioners who have gone through this journey, or you can do this also with your circle, a group circle of friends. So it's going to be a very interesting experience. We really encourage you to do this because it really applies most of the listening practice that we've understand today. So to sum up a bit, for those of you joining online, this as streaming participants, you can check in through this link bit.ly ulab/week 2. If you check in 4 out of the 6 sessions we're going to do, you are eligible to have an e-certificate sent to you. And also do
And by the way, we had about
yep.
300 people. We had about 300 people from week one checking in through our online check-in check-in checkpoints. So thank you so much. Keep it up. We do read them, and we are very, very encouraged, and we love to see your responses of what you learned from week one. So uh, good to hear it was useful, and hopefully this week as well. So keep them coming.
Keep them up. And also, all of the course materials, this PowerPoint for today, are available in this Google Drive link. So it's bit.ly/U.LabX 2281-online. So the links, the guidance to for the case clinic will be here. There's also links to YouTube videos for you to understand better about the case clinic process. And also we'll share some important links, some interesting links for you to deep dive better on peer review here as well. So I think this wraps up from us. I'm sorry, America team, we're a bit over time. But before we close, Shobi, do you want to add anything?
We'll see you next week. The 3 P's: practice, practice, practice.
Yes, practice, practice, practice. And if you didn't have time to do the empathy walk last week, this is also this still the time for you to do that now. So good luck to everyone who joined today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Power wish to everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Before we close up, I'm gonna give it back to the At America team. So over to you, James. Let me stop share.
Thank you so much to all our facilitators and co-facilitators for today's very informative session. Earlier in the event, we asked audience members a question. That question is, true or false? U.Lab has spread to about 100 countries since it was launched. The correct answer to that is false. U.Lab has spread to more than 180 countries around the world. Congratulations goes to Koirul Islamiyah from YouTube for answering correctly. And thank you to everyone who has participated. Don't forget to tune in next time for another chance to get a shout out from us. I'd also like to remind all our audience members of our giveaway, the iPad Pro. If you're still interested in joining, visit our link at atam.tv/mask to unmask for more information. Now you may be wondering, how could I develop an awesome idea for a place like this? It's very easy. All you need to do is go to our website at www.atamerica.or.id, select create a program and click collaborate with us. All event proposals coming to us will be reviewed and your event might be featured here soon. You can also subscribe to our newsletter for all our weekly updates. And that's it, everyone. That wraps this episode. It's been fun, but we have to say goodbye for now. Follow our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at @ATAmerica for our fun contents, event updates, and so much more. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. My name is James, and I'll see you at the next At America TV episode. Goodbye.